think it's a really interesting question. I think the risk is to immediately go and look at the course and focus a lot on good teaching and so forth. And I think that should be a given and it's very important. But actually, let's go back to basics. What motivates a learner? I actually think a lot of learners are not thinking about the qualification, they're thinking about where they want to get to. What's their destination, their progression into HE or into work, for example. So I think that really colleges should be very much focusing on how successful they are at, for example, progressing people into HE, progressing them into work. What's working, and then continuing doing that and more so. So I think the risk is we don't focus enough on learners that are finishing and then changing our programs to improve them, to think about new learners, ensuring that they get the positive outcomes. So yeah, a given high quality programs when they take place, but in terms of which programs are we delivering, actually looking at the experience of past learners is a very powerful thing. I think those responsible for data have a real ownership over being involved in positive interventions. What I mean by that are things like attendance. So if you're responsible for data, one of the things at the centre, so to speak, that you may start to pick up are patterns. Who's attending, who isn't attending, and then being able to inform managers and curriculum leaders and others where the interventions need to take place and finding out why there seems to be an issue, for example, on attendance, and therefore being able to intervene very early and say, actually, there's something that's an issue here that we need to resolve. Maybe the course isn't interesting enough, we need to resolve that. Maybe individuals, it's a certain time of the day that there's an issue. So data is a very powerful management tool to intervene before it becomes too late. And that's absolutely critical. Nobody wants a learner to start, then to maybe leave with an unsuccessful outcome. That's not good for the learner, and it's not good for someone else who maybe could have taken that place and had a successful outcome. So data is an incredibly powerful management tool for intervention. Yeah, I mean, I think that our most important story, and the story that we've done most on and possibly had most impact in terms of policy, has been around apprenticeships. In fact, our very first edition, our pilot edition, the front page, the title for that was Concern at 12-Week Apprenticeships. And since then, we've run a lot of information and stories about apprenticeship programs where one would argue the quality has not been up to the required standard, or certainly not being what people would expect an apprenticeship to be. So short duration apprenticeships has been something that I think FE Week has really led on, shown that it's not at the margins. There was a growing number of apprenticeship programs that were being developed and delivered at 12 and even less than 12 weeks. We've led on that, and we've seen in the last few months a real shift from government that they're now introducing minimum durations for apprenticeships. And actually I think that's a positive thing, because whilst we can debate whether even on long programs there's quality delivery, it certainly means the learner will be getting a decent length of experience for that apprenticeship program. So yeah, no question, FE Week, really delighted with how it's been taken up by the sector, and on the programme of apprenticeships I think we have really made a difference.